Good morning, members. It's the appointed time. We have a quorum. Today, we will have a policy briefing of the panel on home affairs, culture, and sports. We have two secretaries and their teams here today. The secretariat is inviting them inside this conference room. So we will first hear a presentation from Ms. Alice Mack and then from Ms. Rosanna Law. And then I'll open the floor for a Q&A session. We should end at 10, but if there are many members waiting to speak, we can extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Good morning, secretaries. Good morning. Right, please be seated. I will not go through the list of officers in attendance. We have Ms. Alice Mack, Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs, and Ms. Rosanna Law, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, and their teams here to have exchanges with members. And a lot of the members want to interact with you to understand more about policy, so please keep your presentations brief. Do you have any problem with that, Ms. Alice Mack or Ms. Rosanna Law? All right, please start, Ms. Alice Mack. Well, I have prepared a 4,000-odd word speech, but hearing what the chairman said, I will shorten my speech by at least half. And if you want more information, I will go through the points. First of all, I will give a presentation on the policy responsibilities of the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau. On youth development, the government has all along attached great importance to youth development. The Bureau released a youth development blueprint in late 2022, and we have since then working with different bureaus and departments to nurture youth to become future pillars of society for the country and Hong Kong. And we continue to provide diversified overseas and mainland youth exchange and internship programs to provide them with different exchange opportunities and broaden their horizons. The Home and Youth Affairs Bureau held the second Youth Development Summit in September last year, and we have attracted 3,000 youngsters joining, 600 of them coming from the mainland and overseas. The Home and Youth Affairs Bureau set up the Youth Link, and we have now 2,700 youths in the network. And the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau will set up a real-life interaction platform in Nam Chung and Tung Chau Street soon. And the first phase facilities have been commissioned in December last year. We will also convert the community isolation facilities in Kai Tak to youth posts, and it is called Runway 1331, and it has commenced operation last year. It has attracted young people from mainland and overseas coming to Hong Kong and have exchanges with local youth. To better equip youth, we will have more young talent programs, and we will provide more internship and opportunities for international bodies and international conferences. We also will provide some internship opportunities at mainland media organizations. We will also deepen existing financial education programs for youngsters. We will also have the latest mediation workshop to enhance youngsters' awareness and knowledge of mediation services and the sector. We will adopt a multi-pronged approach to have more youth hostel places. It has increased from 80 to 3,700 now from when the current term government took office. We also pay close attention to the family and women's development, and we established the Women Empowerment Fund in June 2023. The fund has approved nearly 380 projects since its inception, and we have seen an increase in funding from $20 million to $30 million. The Bureau launched the Share Inspires Mentorship Program last year, and we have successfully recruited over 50 women leaders as mentors in the inaugural cohort. We have women leaders from public bodies and the commercial sector become mentors, and it has helped mentees in seeking employment and life in general. We have seen great feedback in the first cohort, so we will increase the mentee quota in the second cohort by 50% to 120. And the Bureau has been working with the Family Council closely. We have an annual funding of $8 million for the Family Council. In October in 2024, we held the first Family and Women Development Summit, and we will hold the second summit this year to have exchanges on family and women's development. We have also improved district governance in 2023. We have focused on solving livelihood issues. The Home and Youth Affairs Bureau and Home and Affairs Department will continue through the 3 committees and care teams, as well as the district councils, to tap into the pulse of the neighborhoods to resolve livelihood issues and bring about improvement to lives of the people, and we will continue to work to improve the system. On supporting ethnic minorities, we have all along sought to provide appropriate services for ethnic minorities. Starting from this year, the Home and Affairs Department will set up an additional ethnic minority care team in each of the 2 support service centers for ethnic minorities in the North District and Islands District. And we will also have a youth network and women network established at each of the existing 10 EM centers. The EM care teams will work a bit differently from the existing care teams. They will proactively reach out to ethnic minority friends in communities. And with these youth networks and women networks, they will help connect better to EM youth and women. And in December last year, the Home Affairs Department set up an additional interpretation and translation center for EMs. In October last year, we also have a new EM awareness radio program. We have also been working to improve building management. Earlier this year, we have set up building management working groups under district councils, and we will work with the Property Management Services Authority in the second half of this year to host a forum to exchange best practices in building management. In June last year, we have promulgated the pilot scheme on joint property management, and pending on review on effectiveness, we will consider launching the arrangements in other districts. The Building Management Amendment 2024 ordinance has come into effect, and we're reviewing building management related legislation to see how we can better improve legislation. There are 4 directions we're taking. 1, improving the voting in person threshold for large value procurement, and making clear proxies, instrument, and declaration of interests arrangements, as well as empowering the authority more. And we have already had amendment proposals on being fleshed out, and we do have some arrangements after Wangfuk Court fire. We have engaged Hop On Management Company Limited under the China Camp Group as the appointed administrator to help Wangfu court owners in handling various management issues. They will not be charging any fees for this arrangement, and the Nina Wong Charity Management Limited will donate a total of $10 million to cover the expenses of the administrator. And Hop On is taking forward a series of key tasks already. As for care teams, they have visited 610,000 elderly households and needy households, provided close to 100,000 simple family and support services. They have held 50,000 activities. And this is what they did in the first cohort. In the second cohort, they have commenced service in October last year. We want to continue to provide services and meet residents' needs. In December last year, the second-term care teams already visited 61,000 elderly and needy households, and they have provided 5,500 simple family and support services and held 2,000 activities. Chairman, I welcome members' questions on policy initiatives of the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau. Thank you, Secretary. I will invite Ms. Rosanna Law to give a presentation, but you can press the request to speak button now so that I know how many people are going to ask questions and assign a time limit later. You can ask questions only of one secretary or both secretaries. Ms. Rosanna Law, please. Thank you, Chair. I will try to be brief. The government established the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau in this term to coordinate the culture, sports and tourism portfolios to enhance synergy. But due to historical reason, we have actually the work of the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau being supervised by 3 electrical panels. So I will only focus on culture and sports policy initiatives today. In November 2024, we announced the Blueprint for Arts and Culture and Creative Industries Development. It's an important part of the blueprint to promote Chinese culture. We will continue to have the Chinese Culture Festival and the exhibitions of the General History of China series and launch a broad spectrum of community-oriented initiatives. As for developing Hong Kong into a global premium art trading hub, we have many auction firms and art expos choosing Hong Kong as their base. And since 2013, when first Art Basel was held in Hong Kong, it has become a flagship event in Hong Kong. The Bureau is actively working to develop Hong Kong into an art trading platform, and we are working to finalize arrangements for the next few years with Art Basel. And we are also looking into different support measures to develop Hong Kong as an art trading hub, and we will complete the relevant studies this year. As for the West Kowloon Cultural District Authority, it will set up an international exchange network to expand training capabilities in curation and nurturing arts administration personnel. We will continue to support the authority in operating on a self-financing basis. We will try to set up an industrial chain in the cultural and arts industry. With this, we have also tried to reform the performance venues positioning and try to promote performing arts mega events. We want to have a clearer positioning for LCSD venues. And with the new cultural facilities under construction, we should be able to provide more venues for the performing arts center. And we have already had 2 projects being selected in the latest productions, My Life as MacDowell Stage Show and Art Tech Dance Drama Storm Cloud's Realm of Infinite embodying distinctive Hong Kong characteristics selected as a part of signature performing arts program scheme. And we also have, under the ICH projects, we have some flagship projects that should attract locals and visitors.
We're also going to look into ICH around town through our ICH Highlight tours. We're going to try to look into new KPIs to set up and establish an in and out system for major performing art groups so that we'll be able to increase mobility of arts groups and to encourage arts groups to continuously pursue artistic excellence. The LCSD has also selected 24 designated LCSD facilities and to invite interested parties to lodge expressions of interest and introducing market-based business models such as rental or leasing out museums on closing days for commercial or private use. We are now looking into the plans received, and we will invite these organizations to develop sites into new recreational venues. In terms of sports development, the 15th National Games, the 12th National Games for Persons with Disabilities, and the 9th National Special Olympic Games were successfully held in November and December 2025, respectively. And this shows that we are able to carry this out smoothly, marking an important milestone of sports development in Hong Kong. We are going to leverage on this successful experience to further strengthen the close collaboration in Greater Bay Area. The Kai Tak Sports Park is also a very important venue. Since its opening on March 1st of last year, it has earned recognition and confidence from the trade. We've only used it for around 10 months, but since then we have seen major events at the Kai Tak Sports Park. We've successfully held 50 concerts and mega events, attracting over 1.8 million audience. We believe that we'll see more concerts and mega events this year. We will continue to monitor the use of the sports infrastructure to ensure that will become the sport and mega events development in Hong Kong. We would continue to support sports development. We welcome sports to come up with short and long-term proposals so that we'll be able to consider the needs and demands of different sports events. In 2025, 25 events were given the M mark. Through the M mark system, we will continue to support large international sports events in Hong Kong, and with the objective of allocating resources in a more strategic, effective, and targeted manner. The government has successfully agreed on a multi-year partnership arrangement with the world-class men's professional golf tournament LIV Golf to host LIV Golf League in Hong Kong in 2026 and 2027. To ensure we give full support to the Nagoya Asian Games this year, the Hong Kong Sports Institute has last year increased a grant to our elite athletes, and we will continue to use sports science and research funding scheme to enhance athletes' training efficacy and their competitiveness in international competitions. On December 11th, 2025, we started up the pilot scheme on mediation in sports, and through this we'll be able to ensure the long-term development in sports. The Sports Federation and Olympic of Hong Kong and NSAs are working together to enhance governance standards and operational efficiency. We will also collaborate with the NSAs to come into Hong Kong and to encourage them to participate in Asian and international events, so that if they take up positions as board directors or committee members in such sports associations, it will allow Hong Kong to capitalize on the opportunities and secure the greatest benefits for Hong Kong. The government also supports SFNOC to host the General Assembly of the Association of National Olympic Committees this year. We will continue to provide full support, and we look forward to listening to the views of members. There are now 14 members waiting to speak. Let me read out the names. Mr. Vincent Chen, Mr. Chong Ho Fong, Mr. Jonathan Leung, Ms. Michelle Tang, Ms. Chen Ho Yan, Ms. Nixie Lam, Mr. Chen Yung, Ms. Christine Fong, Deputy Chair Mr. Adrian Ho, Mr. Albert Trong, Mr. Ken Wong, Mr. Alvin Lee, and myself. 4 minutes each. Mr. Vincent Chang, please. Thank you. Thank you to the two secretaries for your detailed presentation. I'd like to focus on sports development. Last year, we completed our national games very successfully, and with 25 major events and also a few local soccer matches, we have seen many international events being held in Hong Kong. I really do look forward to seeing more development in the sports in Hong Kong. Well, what other large international or mega sports events can be held in Hong Kong to continue with this trend? Well, Hong Kong people really like to support local athletes, so perhaps we could also leverage on that as well in our sports development. Well, we all like to participate in sports, but it seems that there is a lack of venues in Hong Kong. I remember a few years back we were talking about trying to expand the use of venue in Kwun Chung market. Do we have any updates on that? Secretary, thank you. The successful completion of the national games has given us more experience in holding such important sports events. Well, it takes a lot of preparation and arrangement for the success. It took us around 3 years working on the preparation of the national games. Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau have all worked very hard to ensure the successful completion of the games. We believe that this could be continued. We do hope that we'll have the opportunity to hold more Asian or even international sports events. Next month we would see an event on snooker, and then there would also be fencing after a few months, and there would also be table tennis and also rugby competitions. We are trying to consider the feasibility and whether these events would be popular amongst people in Hong Kong. Well, we also have a focus on the Asian Games to be held in Nagoya in September this year. As regards to venues, in the past we focus mainly on sports events in the districts. We are now looking into how to enhance efficiency in the use of our venues and how to make venues to become multi-purpose use. Well, Hong Kong is really very small. We cannot build a venue in each and every district. As land is limited, we might as well just build larger venues to cater to multiple uses. We know that venue is a very important issue we need to consider in Hong Kong. Thank you. Mr. Kwesip, Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the two secretaries for your presentations. I am concerned with culture and arts. Or the secretary talked about how we can work together with the mainland on sports development. But how about culture and arts? We do have a soft power in arts. How can we bring this into the mainland or just bring into the GBA cities? I think this could actually be something we could ponder upon. Can we try to create a local IP in arts which can be brought over to the mainland market? We might actually be lacking an intermediary role in the art sector. Can we try to, through statutory organizations, support art groups or cultural groups, and so that we'll be able to also play a role on the mainland? I also want to ask a question about guest houses. I know that there's been a relaxation in the application of licenses. Can we actually relax further? Because as some people said, people already living in those guest houses, but then there's too much red tape, and so it is not easy to try to open up the guest houses for use. Ms. Law. Well, yes, we do attach importance to exchanges. We know that there is a huge market. Many of the arts groups would go perform on the mainland. There is a large venue in Qianhai, for example. We would try to provide support and subsidies. Mr. Yip, you work at the Arts Development Council. I'm sure that you also have many plans in these areas. As I said earlier, there is our signature performing arts program scheme in which My Life as McDowell Stage Show and Art Tech Dance Drama Storm Cloud's Realm of Infinite have been chosen to represent Hong Kong. We hope to enhance popularity in our local IP. Well, look at the show of the Impossible Trial. We hope that it can also become a long-term fixture in West Kowloon as well. Thank you, Mr. Yip, for your question. Well, under the application for guest house, we do not have a definition on guest house, but there are few kinds of licenses. There are like 4 types of guest houses. Some of them are those you see in the urban areas. The other is for camps and also guest houses in village houses. So currently, on relaxing licenses, actually we have already started to issue a license for guest house in village house. If we request, if we actually do not relax these licenses, then many of them would not be able to comply. We are now trying to simplify the process and procedures, and starting from this year, I'm sure that there will be clearer measures to facilitate the operation of these camps and lodgings in rural areas. Well, time is very tight today, so after Mr. Chong Ho Fong asks his question, I will draw a line. So if you would like to ask a question, please press the button as soon as possible. Mr. Chong Ho Fong.
Thank you, Chair. We have seen before unscrupulous individuals taking advantage of loopholes. So They fake the authorization of owners, and they control the process with proxies. That is a big problem in building management. And we have some joining owners corporations, and they hold meetings at work hours, so many owners can't appear in person, and they can't help but authorize proxies, or they just not vote, and often decisions are hijacked. I think the problem does not lie with the proxy, because we do need proxies. But then the system made it easy for owners to just let other people become proxies without much consideration, or they may even be threatened. So can we tighten the requirements? For example, we will need to indicate on votes of proxies what the owner's intention is, and there should be a property management company witnessing this, and the Home Affairs Department should be a gatekeeper. Can we do that? I also have a second question. I'll be very brief. That is on sports development. We successfully held the national games, and many arrangements of the national games are praise hardware or software. And in fact, when an important Olympic Committee representative came to Hong Kong, they actually praised the arrangements too. I think this shows we have the capability of hosting mega events. So will you work with Guangdong and Macau to perhaps think about hosting the Olympic Games? Thank you. Miss Alice Mack. Thank you. As I said earlier, we had the first part of legislation relating to building management amended, and we will soon go into second round of amendments. As I said earlier, we have 4 directions that we're planning to take, and one of them is related to proxies. I said before in public that we are considering 2 directions. One, we will limit the number of proxy instruments. 2, we will ask owner corporations and or management companies to see how many proxies there are and where are the proxies, which units the proxies are representing, so that owners will have greater awareness. Say, if they did not sign it, why is there a proxy? Or if they know another household owner is not even residing in the property, why is there a proxy? So there can be more gatekeeping. It is very hard to have witnessing or have a Home Affairs Department as a gatekeeper, for example, verifying the identities, because that will be a very heavy workload. So I think we also have to think about how we can get the owners to submit information to the Home Affairs Department. And actually, we will have a discussion about this at this panel in future, so we can have more in-depth discussions on this. Ms. Rosanna Law, please be brief. I will just answer the question on whether we will try to strive for hosting the Olympic Games with Guangdong and Macau. And I will say this here. We thank people's recognition, and we thank everyone working together. We very much thank you for your recognition, but hosting the Olympics will be the country's decision, and Hong Kong will not be making plans and will not be studying the possibility of hosting the Olympic Games. We will, however, focus on hosting specific events such as national or Asian events, so that athletes can strive for more experience and good results. Thank Thank you. I think members have to make sure no matter what questions you ask, you need to leave some time for the secretaries to answer the questions. Thank you. Mr. Jonathan Leung. Thank you, Chair. My first question is on Home Affairs policy. And after the Wangfu Court fire, we have seen many OC members say they are not as willing to participate in OC matters. There are a number of improvement measures proposed, but it seems that it does not really help with daily operations with OCs. What is the government's plans on providing better support to OCs? I also have some questions on culture and sports. We have seen in Christmas last year, we have attracted many visitors, but many locals also left Hong Kong. It has really hurt consumption. We have seen before hosting some events help. So can we have during long holidays, maybe we can have some F&B events so as to attract visitors as well as encourage locals to stay in Hong Kong. Thank you, Chair. Ms. Rosanna Law. Thank you. Perhaps Mr. Jonathan Leung can ask about this when we have this panel on economic development meeting later, and we can talk about tourism specifically. Thank you. I will leave the time to Ms. Alice Mack. Thank you. I have talked about earlier 5 directions in amending building management legislation, and as the member said, we have been talking about for a long time that we would want to amend building management legislation. Many proposals were actually made, but then when we actually have to implement the arrangement, some OC members said this is very troublesome, so we will not be OC members in future with this. And we still want people to be OC members, which is why we did not have relevant legislative proposals fleshed out for many years. It was until 2023 when we introduced our latest proposals to the LegCo, and we received support from the LegCo in 2024 that we have the laws implemented. We have great expectations for OC operations and management. And I think with society consensus, us taking forward the second round of amendments, it will be easiest for us to seek agreement of society to have these legislative amendments pass. And in our proposals, many OC members find or have disputes, and they work on a voluntary basis. They think, why are they being challenged by other residents? So we are thinking about, in our latest round of amendments, some requirements for convening meetings, what is going to happen if meetings are suspended or cancelled. We want to minimize confusion and by extension disputes among members so that we have a clear and feasible set of arrangements that owners can follow. The Home Affairs Department also has a central platform for OC members to provide support to them if necessary. Thank you, Ms. Michelle Tang. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Secretaries. I have 2 questions for the Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs and 1 for the Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism. On youth exchanges for youth, I want to ask if you are considering extending the arrangements to international school students. We want to broaden their horizons. Even if not annually, I think such exchanges can be held every other year so that we can broaden their horizons of not just overseas, but mainland China. And in fact, joint property management was first suggested by the BPA, and it has been well received in communities. I hope that the Bureau can have regular exchanges with the district stakeholders of the pilot arrangements so that we can really learn from the experience. Now, my question for the Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, I very much support the development of culture and arts, and I like drawing myself. I would see myself as someone half proficient in culture. I hope that we can have more artists hosting art exhibitions, and we should provide support to them. It is part of their resume to hold exhibitions, but many current venues are often fully booked. So I hope that we can have more venues for local artists to apply to host exhibitions. Thank you. Ms. Alice Mack, I'll be brief. We have increased quotas for youth exchange programs constantly, and we have last year 40,000 odd quotas available. We hope to provide through the different exchange programs so that local youth can go to the mainland cities more. We want them to really experience things for themselves. We have different exchange programs and projects for youngsters to participate in. As for joint property management, we thank member for your concern. After the pilot arrangements were launched, we have reached out to over 200 buildings, and over 80 building owners have signed expression of interest in joining the pilot scheme, and we already have some that will start practicing joint property management this month. We have therefore set up the building management working groups under district councils since earlier this year to really resolve the prominent building management issues within their districts. And through the working groups will hold regular meetings, but they will host exchange sessions for local owners to exchange experience on building management. We believe it's very important to facilitate discussions among owners through these. Thank you. Ms. Rosanna Law. Thank you. We actually have many different venues for arts exhibitions or other exhibitions. The Cultural Center lobby is one. We also have one at the City Hall as well as the Central Library. Many are interested because they are in very accessible locations. With arts exhibitions, we also need to make sure we have in mind the artists' art level, and we have even students having exhibitions in Central Library, as I mentioned, as well as City Hall. For those who are amateurs, I think it's possible for them to host exhibitions in local spaces, maybe in community halls or secondary schools, so that some temporary exhibitions can be held so that even amateurs can hold exhibitions instead of hosting them at City Hall. Thank you. Ms. Chen Hao-Yan, I want to ask about care teams. Care teams have been working very hard to help citizens. When they make visits, unless they know about a particular household circumstances, knowing that they need care team services, if residents reside in private housing estates or HOS flats, it is hard for them to reach out to these households. So how can we better support care teams in providing services to these households? On youth development, we have seen different programs supporting youth, the Youth Link, the Youth Ambassador programs, etc. How can we perhaps involve youngsters in care teams so as to lower the average age of care team members? We have many care team members that are relatively old, perhaps because they are volunteers. I think if we can involve youth in care team activities, I think it will be good. And I also want to ask about intangible cultural heritage. I want to ask about the register for ICH. ICH activities actually are quite attractive for visitors, and starting from 2nd of March, where we'll receive registration, how can we support those who have registered ICH? Can we allow them a stable platform to display their ICH? For example, my hometown, Foshan, there actually is a location where people can go there specifically for ICH activities, and it can also boost tourism. So I want to ask what the government's plans are. Thank you, Ms. Alice Mack.
Thank you for the recognition of the care teams. The care teams are very passionate about their jobs. Many of them are volunteers, and they will take time out of their own schedules to care for the people in their district. Well, it is indeed a bit difficult to visit people in private housing. Well, I'm sure you understand that, because it's not only limited to care teams. Even if legislators want to go into private housing, it would be a bit difficult. We do hope that care teams could provide support and visits to all housing estates. It was very tough in the beginning, but now many housing estates understand the week of the care teams, and when there are emergency situations such as a suspension of power and water, they would open up to the care teams to visit those in need. We hope that care teams can also provide ongoing support. Many young Link members are already members of care team. Last year, one of the themes was caring for the community. So the Youth Link has been working together with the care teams. We do know that young people are also very concerned about the old people in our society as well. Ms. Law. Well, yes, intangible cultural heritage is very important to us. Last year, end of December, we actually came up with on how we are going to look into the ICH, and in June we already started taking in applications. So this application deadline will be in March of this year, and we believe that this year there will be going to be the first we have to see the first result on who the bearer of the ICH would be. Well, do not underestimate its importance. We do have 24 ICH representatives in Hong Kong. Actually, there are over 507 that could be counted as intangible cultural heritage assets. From May 31st till July of last year, we held the first Hong Kong ICH month, and there were many different performances and events organized those months. And through this, we'll be able to come up with the most popular one, and we will continue to look into that. I'm asking about whether there would be a permanent platform for the ICH. Well, how about you can share after the meeting, because your time is up. Ms. Nexi Lam, thank you. I'd like to ask about youth because I am concerned with marriage and birth rate of young people. We see from figures in the last 2 years on the average age of marriage and average age of first birth. I want to know whether the government would update the figures because the figures are from 2 years ago. Are you going to update this every now and then? I hope that you would also work with different youth organizations to come up with themes and work in the focus groups. Otherwise, we wouldn't really understand how the youth think. Well, the mainland has also been conducting studies on average age of marriage in young people. I also want to touch on the national games. It was an event that could actually connect all the cities in the Greater Bay Area. Would there be more such similar events? Well, it may not be limited to these two bureaus, but perhaps we could also try to work together in finance or in other areas. I really like to buy dolls. I wasn't able to purchase the one available in the museum for the Egyptian exhibition. I was really unable to buy that doll, that toy. So can we actually try to work on this further so that we'll be able to bring in more profit through that? Well, do you want both secretaries to answer your question? Well, of course, please. Well, I'm always going over time. Let me try to be quick. For the youth dashboard, this is something that we came up in our government because we want to have some figures so that the society could have a better understanding on it. The youth dashboard is for us to keep better tabs on the pulse of young people, to look into the demographic characteristics of Hong Kong youth. We will update the data on a frequent basis on the dashboard. The data is actually in different organizations. When we know that there are updates from those organizations, then we would, of course, update the data on our dashboard. We want to collect all the data so that everyone will be able to have a better idea on what is happening with the young people. Ms. Long. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Lam. Well, I do know that these cultural products are actually very popular, and I'm happy to hear that Ms. Lam really likes the Egyptian exhibition cultural products. We have already told the Palace Museum that there would be a huge profit for the peripheral merchandises. We have already seen very successful experience in Shanghai. Many people visited the museum just for the cultural products. We encourage West Kowloon to learn from them. Well, actually, they told us that the popularity for the products were out of their expectations. And our bureau works on culture, sports, and tourism. And actually, these cultural products could really help us boost the development in these three areas. Mr. Chen Yong. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Secretaries. We do recognize your work. I'm mainly concerned with building management, especially for the OCs, as they are volunteers, much like the care teams. They are not professionals. How can we, in the short term, provide them with support? And on the care teams, Many of them are volunteers, and they provide support to those living in the same community. But can some of those members become more professionals or support the HAD in the district? In the past year, we've done a lot of successful work in national games and also on the war of resistance. We always talk about blue tourism, red tourism, green tourism. How can we ensure that we can be on par or up to standard with these development every year? Ms. Mack. Well, many members are asking about building management, and this is exactly what we need to work on. Well, I've briefly given you an idea on what we're going to do. We're going to amend legislature, and then we are going to work together with the district councillors through different platforms and workshops to provide with owners information they might need. The HAD also has plans such as the pilot scheme on joint property management to help owners living in 3-nil buildings. There's also a professional scheme on buildings. NGOs can assist buildings to set up OCs to enhance building management. A central platform hopefully will be launched to provide support to OCs. The CE, in his first policy address, launched the building of the care teams. And since then, the care teams have seamlessly been providing support to the community for quite a few years. We want the community to know more about the work of care teams. Every time the care teams work or provide support, the HAD will be around to provide support. Therefore, we do work together. And last year, we request district councillors to also support care teams in their work. Ms. Law. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chen. I agree with what we said. We must continuously try to promote Chinese culture. Well, since 2025, when we focus mainly on the war of resistance, we are now starting to, in Kowloon Park, in Kowloon, set up the Chinese culture promotion or the Chinese Culture Experience Center to bring a better experience to our people. As Ms. Chen Ho-yen said, there needs to be more exhibition venues, and so this Chinese Culture Experience Center would be supporting that. We have brought in many different projects such as Chinese opera, and we would continue with that work so that other than performing arts, visual arts and other arts could also be exhibited. Well, last year I visited an exhibition on the study of oracles. I do hope that we would continue with this work and then people could then know more about Chinese culture.
Ms. Christine Fong. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Secretaries. We pay close attention to the issue of building management, and there are 5 major areas for legislative amendments for Chapter 344 Building Management Ordinance. I hope that we can work together to flesh out the legislative amendments. Proxy instruments are, of course, a major concern. You said it would be difficult for Home Affairs Department representative officers to verify the identities, maybe by reaching out to owners, but can we engage third parties? If we can have, say, accountants or other independent third parties, or can we have MHs or justices of the peace do it on a voluntary basis to verify the identities? The Joint Property Management Pilot Scheme has been doing well. I want to ask, for low-density developments such as village houses or villas, would you consider having joint property management? For example, the district that I serve in Sai Kung, there are several areas, say the Silver Strand Bay and Clearwater Bay. They also face some road management or daily management issues or security problems. Would the government consider this option for these locations? I am also very concerned about the provision of sports facilities. In Tseung Kwan O, we have seen rapid development, but there are not enough sports facilities in, say, Lotus Park. We have some youngsters who are relatively obese, so would you consider providing more sports facilities in Tseung Kwan O? And we actually had a 4th riding school for the public constructed by the Jockey Club in Tseung Kwan O. I think they're taking a good direction. I actually started advocating for this in 2008 when we had the Winter Olympics. We needed a venue, and the Jockey Club therefore constructed a riding school in Clearwater Bay. Can the Jockey Club provide more support in providing facilities such as hiking trails, basketball courts, or steps connecting to a Jockey Club football training center, so as to enhance people's sense of belonging? Thank you, Chair. Well, I heard 4 questions. Can the secretaries be brief in their response? Well, I only have 20 seconds. I don't think I have enough time to even answer one question. I'll just say this. I welcome members' suggestions in future discussions. We also want to enhance the proxy instrument system, as we said earlier. On job property management, we have some common areas that have undivided shares, so they can have OCs. So for independent houses, they have common areas. If they have common areas, then they can set up an OC. Say if they have a clubhouse or some roads. But then for village houses, they can't really adopt this model because they don't have undivided shares. But on a district level, we have rural committees and village representatives representing villages so that we can do village management better. Thank you. Ms. Rosanna Law. Thank you. I understand that district elected members may be more concerned about the situation in their neighborhoods, but Ma On Shan and Tseung Kwan O, as new development areas, are actually quite developed in the provision of facilities. And in fact, the Ma On Shan Sports Center is even an inclusive facility. So we had some of the national games for disabled persons held there. And in Cheung they have very good cycle tracks. They have running trails. I actually jogged on the Cheung Bridge, and I've seen the facility is quite good. And I would encourage Miss Christine Fong, if there are children who are obese in Cheung apart from encouraging them to make use of sports centers, I think they can make use of the cycle tracks or the jogging trails, or they can go hiking. But of course, we will always be looking at how we can improve provision of facilities. Thank you. Mr. Adrian Ho. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Secretaries. I have a question for Miss Alice Mack about youth hostel. If we rent hotels, we would be bound by contracts and some commercial terms. Would the government have other plans in future to prevent what we had recently, some problems happening, not happen again? And the maintenance mediation pilot scheme has dealt with 254 cases, and 215 of them have been completed. There are 39 remaining cases. I want to ask what is happening with those cases. I want to ask about the success rate as well. And what is going to happen if mediation does not help with the situation? Is it going to be handled by the courts? Do you plan on regularizing the arrangements? I also have a question for Ms. Rosanna Law. We have seen successful reforms of the LCSC on booking of venues. So can we in future provide some support for theater troupes or other arts troupes in booking venues, and can we provide some sort of rent concessions? Thank you, Ms. Alice Mack. Thank you. For youth hostels, we have 3 policy directions. We help NGOs, if they have their own land, to construct youth hostels. With the current term government support, we have dedicated teams, and we have expedited the progress of construction of youth hostels. This year and next year, we will have some of the youth hostels constructed by NGOs commissioned. So we should be able to provide more youth hostel places in future. Before, we also had some NGOs converting hotels and guest houses into youth hostels. It is because we are constructing youth hostels, so in the short term, we do already want to provide some youth hostel places. We have 1,000 odd hostel places provided under the arrangements, and we thank hotels and guest houses for the support so far. When we draft up contracts and rental agreements, we have very clear terms. We ask the operators to fulfill their responsibilities, and we ask operators to not just provide youth hostel places for a few years. We want them to provide long-term support even when residents leave the youth hostels. As for the maintenance mediation pilot program, it is an initiative launched by the current term government. The member quoted some figures already, and we are quite happy with the results so far. And we also conducted some informal surveys. The users said they were made aware of this scheme because they had friends making use of the services. So we hope that with Grapevine we can achieve the purpose of enhancing awareness, and with such services we want to minimize litigation and with maintenance issues. Thank you, Ms. Rosanna Law. Thank you. I'll be brief, Chair. And the Deputy Chairman has all along been working on and supervising policy relating to performance venues, and we have had reforms at the LCSC, as the member said, and we right now only have one venue partner for venues except for the cultural center. That will allow for more time slots to be released for new partners such as some medium and small size arts troupes. Before, when we had more partners, because the partners had priority booking, those who are not partners would take long for them to book venues. So I hope that with the reforms, it can really help the different arts troupes. And for small and medium arts troupes, we also have other projects providing assistance to them. And if they have some good ideas, we're more than willing to facilitate their expansion. Thank you. Let me do some in-house administration matters. We have 5 members waiting to speak. I believe we can't complete our discussions within 20 minutes, so perhaps we can extend the meeting if the secretaries do not object. And we wouldn't determine the order in which secretaries speak. I will see which secretary will answer the questions first, depending on the order of the questions asked by members. Thank you. We have several other members waiting to speak. Let's go with Mr. Albert Trung now. Thank you, Chair. I have seen the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau having increased participation in exchange activities, and I have actually talked to many youngsters having participated in such activities. They have had deepened awareness about the country, and they have a greater sense of national identity. I think the Home and Youth Affairs Bureau has been doing well. So I have some questions for Ms. Alice Mack. I pay close attention to the situation of international youth exchange. Can we have more youngsters going overseas, for example, to Belt and Road countries, cities for exchanges and internships? And in Shenzhen, at the end of this year, we will have the APEC Leaders Conference. So can the Bureau work to strive for more internship or volunteer opportunities at these conferences for local youngsters? Thank you, Chair. Secretary, thank you. We thank the members' support so far in youth work. We also thank other stakeholders for their support. The members should know, apart from exchange programs for the mainland, we also have international programs. And in the 2025-26 financial year, we have approved 95 international exchange projects covering 44 countries and regions. And we've all along been making adjustments so that we can host more of these international exchange programs. And as the member said earlier, apart from trying to broaden the horizons of the youth, we have implemented some enhancement measures for international exchange programs. We actually ask youngsters when they get to these overseas locations to visit the ambassadors and the embassies of the country so that they can have better awareness of developments in international society and how our country is working with different countries in different areas. And that is exactly why we held the Youth Development Summit. Last year we had over 3,000 youths joining, 600 of them coming from different countries, the US, Singapore, Malaysia. Through the various programs, we hope that we can broaden the horizons of local youth and allowing them a chance to exchange with different international youth. We want to have two-way exchanges. Apart from giving opportunities to the local youth to mainland and overseas, we actually encourage mainland and overseas youth to come to Hong Kong for exchanges, and they can make good use of runway 1331, the youth post. We believe with these measures, it can provide a great experience for youngsters. The member also mentioned the APEC conference. In 2024, we actually already had 5 youth representatives taking part in APEC meetings representing Hong Kong alongside international youth. Apart from the APEC conference to be held this year, the Bureau will strive for different opportunities for youngsters to have internships or participate in international conferences and volunteer. Thank you.
Mr. Ken Wong. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you to the 2 secretaries for bringing your team in to share with us the upcoming policy initiatives. Education and youth are closely connected, so I have a couple of questions for the secretaries. First of all, I am happy to see that there is actually a thematic plan for 18 to 30-year-olds young people to visit the mainland, to exchange with them, to have a better understanding of the country, including visiting the Palace Museum. I want to know whether there would be an expansion in quota for these opportunities, and would you actually enhance the talent training program? I also have a question on the Chinese Culture Promotion Office. Now with Article 23 in place, and in March at the NBCC meetings, there would actually also be talks on being patriotic and promoting Chinese culture in schools. I believe that we should try to work closer with schools to teach students to be more patriotic. The Education Bureau is mainly in charge of this area, but how can we, in other or through different areas, also try to support students and schools? Ms. Mack, thank you. Every year there is a very large competition for this thematic internship program on the mainland. It's very popular. We do hope to deepen and strengthen this. It used to be only 6, but then if it increased by 1 to 7 this year. Our young people can go to over to Dunhuang, to the Mogul Caves, or they can visit Qingdao, or even to the Central Science Park, or maybe to the Sichuan Wolong Panda Base. And last year, an opportunity came out for a broadcast opportunity in Hunan. Young people can make use of their holiday to immerse themselves in these experiences. We really do thank the organizations for their support, because these opportunities are especially catered to Hong Kong youth. So last year, Hunan TV created this new post for those studying media in Hong Kong. Ms. Law. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Wong, for your question. It is indeed important for schools to promote Chinese culture. Not only must it be incorporated into the curriculum, teachers also need to be well equipped to teach this. I agree with what Mr. Wong said, that there should be an all-rounded, comprehensive study. We must try to make good use of our resources to help students be in touch with Chinese culture. We have actually launched the General History of China series in exhibition for a few years. So starting from the Xia and Shang dynasty in 2023, we talked about Qing and Han in 2025, and then we would gradually move on to the Ming and Qing dynasty. So this is actually a systematic exhibition on the general history of China. We want to nurture students from young to visit museums. We see that the average age of museum visiting is on average 35 years of age on the mainland. So we really do want to encourage more young people to nurture a love for visiting museums. Also, on the intangible cultural heritage, we want to recognize the bearers of the items on the representative list of the ICH of Hong Kong, and we hope that the ICH can then be passed on to the other generations. These events can help us promote and teach this to our students. Thank you, Mr. Alvin Lee. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the secretaries. I know that a lot of work has been done under the leadership of the secretaries. We want to do our best to try to nurture our people. We want to look into how we can implement many of our upcoming opportunities under the 15th five-year plan. I am quite interested in knowing more about culture, especially Chinese culture. How can we bring in Chinese culture and then have our Hong Kong culture go global? I've heard a lot about the promotion of Chinese culture just now. And now I have a question on how can we bring Hong Kong culture to Guangzhou in future. How can we also bring our culture to other places, including the ASEAN countries, and come up with a systematic plan to try to bring out the culture of Hong Kong and then to share good stories of Hong Kong. We also want to encourage reading, so everyone participate in reading is already a theme on the mainland. I have moved a motion on this, and I hope that there could be more discussion with the government on promoting this. Ms. Law, thank you, Mr. Lee, for your question. On bringing our culture out and bringing in Chinese culture, I know that our focus today has mainly been on bringing in Chinese culture. I'm happy to hear you say that we want to bring out our culture in Hong Kong to Guangzhou. I have participated in a Hong Kong week in Seoul, and we try to bring out our culture such as our anime, our music, also on dance, our fashion, and we have brought out our culture to different places through Hong Kong Week. Well, in Seoul, we actually also shared with them our fashion in one of their fashion areas, and we've received positive feedback from them. Well, for ballet, as it's sort of like a Western art. We don't need to use language to express our culture. But then we used a Hong Kong background, and through this we're able to share our culture with other people. Every year, we would hold Hong Kong Week, one on a mainland city. This year, Hong Kong Week would be taking place in Chengdu. And then another year, we would visit another country. In 2025, Hong Kong Week was held in Seoul, Korea. And previously, we've been to Thailand. Last year, when I visited the Middle East, I found that the Middle East countries are also very interested in our performing arts groups. And through our ETO in Dubai, I hope that we can also bring out our culture. And I'm happy to hear that you have moved a motion, and I look forward to further discussions with you. Well, Ms. Julia Lau. Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I'd like to recognize the two secretaries for leading their team in their work on ICH and sports and so on. I'd like to touch a bit on architectural design and culture. Well, a city is usually shown by its architecture, and it can actually attract tourists. There is a lot of special characteristics in Hong Kong. I hope that the government can consider policies in allowing young people to express their creativity, to push forward the development of architectural development. Some places would take out small subsidies to support this kind of development. We want to showcase Hong Kong as a creative place that we can catch up with AI, and that we do also have cultural features. So I hope to see the government do more on this end. And this new application for guest house has been relaxed in 92 rural areas. I am wondering whether it could be further opened to other places and not just limited to these 92. Ms. Law, I understand Ms. Lau's question, but I'm thinking how I can promote this through our bureau. When we're building new hard power, perhaps we can consider this and to invite young architects to participate. We have discussed with Ms. Lau before whether young architects could also join in the design of public housing estates. There are many young artists in Hong Kong. Whether it be in art galleries, art exhibitions, we have been trying to bring in local artists. For example, in the Impressionist art exhibition or in the Picasso art exhibition, we have also invited young artists to share their thoughts and views on these masterpieces. So that's all I have to say for now. Ms. Mack. Well, I know about the license you're talking about on guest houses. This is actually under environment, which actually differs from the guest house license. for the holiday camp or campsite licenses, we do not view it by the different villages. We look at the individual places. We have already issued 97 licenses so far, but for the other license that you're referring to, I think those are for villages, and it has been in expansion. I know that the community hopes that we could make better use of these villages.
All right. I can see Mr. Wu Yingpeng is now in attendance of the meeting and wanted to ask questions. I would like to apologize because I've already drawn the line and I extend the meeting by 15 minutes just for the members who have pressed the request to speak button earlier and had yet to ask questions. So it will now be my turn to speak. I want to first ask questions of Ms. Rosanna Law on international cultural heritage. Our party is actually paying close attention to how we can maintain legacy of international cultural heritage. I actually have a policy recommendation. One has been making chestnuts for 3 generations, and they tried to apply for intentional cultural heritage, but they did not succeed. Many of those on the representative list are related to arts and crafts. Can we expand the scope a little more so that for artisans doing something else, even if they're hawkers, we can award intangible cultural heritage to them? I also have a question for Ms. Alice Mack. We heard many members how they're concerned about building management. I am sure you're going to take forward further reforms. And I have suggested before, and I believe since the government agrees that we should have the authority intervene proactively if there are issues. For example, the Labor Department has officers dealing with wages in lieu if it is less than $15,000. It would be them handling the arbitration. Would you consider taking the same approach? But do you have enough manpower for that? How much manpower are you deploying for building management related issues? How many do you need to take forward reforms? Thank you. Ms. Rosanna Law, I believe there should be specific requirements for the recognition of intangible cultural heritage. Cooking chestnuts is a traditional snack. I will need to review the requirements to see if this will make the requirements. I think with hawker stalls or bazaar stalls or even general markets, there is potential, but then there are some restrictions in supervision. I think we need to really strike a balance between development potential and food safety and hygiene requirements. I will work with the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department to see if we can remove some of the unnecessary restrictions. On intangible cultural heritage, we actually have approved 507 projects already. Thank you. Ms. Alice Mack. Thank you. We will soon brief members on our legislative proposals to improve building management, to enhance quality of management, and better support owners. The chairman asked about manpower deployment. In fact, if you are familiar with the situation, members, you should know that we have increased participation on the part of the government in building management. The Home Affairs Department and district councillors would take part in some OC meetings and provide advice. We also provide other kinds of services. In terms of manpower deployment, which is what the member asked about, our current manpower deployment is the same as before when we had plans to have owners manage their own property. But now, as society expects the government to better support owners and empower the authority, we may need manpower. Right now, we have 100 odd officers helping 10,000 odd owners corporations. They are indeed challenged. So we are changing our approach from non-interventionist to providing a high degree of support to owners. We have not had changes in manpower deployment. The officers are working hard and are more than willing to go above and beyond. But we do see that the current establishment is lacking with the heavy workload. If society thinks we need to have a higher quality of building management and there is a need for the government to provide more support services for owners so that owners can better manage their property, whether it's changes to legislation or establishment, we will need some new initiatives. And if we have new proposals to seek funding from the council, we hope that we can receive members' support. All right, so we have 15 members having asked questions of the portfolios of 2 bureaus. This part is over. If there's no other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you.